everyone. Well, been glassing the desert this morning, trying to spot some desert mule deer. And it's now 8:30, so I'm going to wrap up my glassing session for this morning and go out for an afternoon hike. I spotted some nice bucks back in this wash. Watched them work their way up the wash to what I assume is probably their bedding area for the day. It's kind of overcast because it's been raining all night. That's kind of why I took the morning off. But success. I located some bucks. Hopefully they're bedded down back up the wash there about a mile. I got the wind right. I'm going to go back and get a little breakfast. I'm going to sneak back up there and see if I can get in there quiet, get in close, and maybe get a shot. Optics in the desert are a necessity. I think I have a video on my channel about what type of optics I use, if you're wondering what's in the background there. I've got a 15 by 56 Swaro, a 20 to 60 Swaro spotter. And that spotter is 20 years old, but it still works good. And of course I've got my 10 by 32 Swaro EL hunting glasses, which are always with me. Bring my sneaky moccasins so I can change out of my boots, see if I can get a stalk on one of these 3 shooter bucks. Mav Hunter out. After a quick breakfast, I returned desert, but I had to circle around a mile and a half because the wind had shifted from a southwest to now a northeast. So I was going to have to cover a mile and a half down to the south before I could find where those bucks were bedded. Hey everybody, Mav Hunter here. Day 11, doing an evening hunt in the desert, where earlier this morning I spotted 2 really nice bucks. One was a very tall and wide 3x4, and the other was a 4x4, only had one eye guard. The second eye guard was broken off, but that deer was 33 inches wide. Okay, that's a safe guess. I think he might be even wider. It's one of the widest bucks I've seen out here in this desert in years. But anyway, just to show you something here, this is an old donkey hole. This is where the donkeys will roll and take a dirt bath, and then a lot of times they'll poop in these areas. Well, what's happened is, you get a little rain and it sprouted some kind of green leafy plant. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm standing on the spot where I saw the tall 3x4 and he was actually feeding on this green leafy material. So I'm going to pick a little bit of it and take it home and find out what kind of desert plant this is. If anybody knows what kind of desert plant this is, let me know. Because that buck, well, he was munching away. All right, everybody. Here's another deer hunting tip, telling buck tracks from doe tracks. See my earlier video on the buck track. I'd come out of the trail and saw 2 large does, and they were walking away from me down this old gravel soft road, and they left their imprints. And this is what I call the double doe 2-step. You'll see that their rear foot will step just in front of the front foot. There it is again. Their rear hoof steps right in front of the front. All the way down. Once again, here is the larger of the 2 does. There's the doe 2-step. a single track, and then a two-step, a single track, and then the two-step. When you see trails like this where there's a lot of two-stepping going on, you're following does. You can see here, yes, I'm missing an arrow. Instead of 5, there's only 4. I ended up getting a shot on a buck at 73 yards. Didn't allow for the wind drift, and it drifted a little bit low and left. The 2 does ran up on the side of the ridge that the buck disappeared over. They were looking at me and then looking down towards him as I could hear his hoofs scatter the rocks as he continued to sprint to safety. And then the does decided to turn around and look back at me one last time before they too would slowly disappear over the ridge. But they didn't sprint like the buck did. These 2 does looked at me for over 7 minutes before they just gingerly stepped away and disappeared over the ridgeline. God, I just hate it when I miss a shot when they're so hard to come by. I went and looked for the arrow, but the only thing I could find was the arrow knock. So the severed broadhead and the arrow shaft fletchings, they're long gone. So there goes $40. Oh well, at least I had a shot, a good shot. I just blew it.